A lot of guys are too focused on your face. I'm like, fuck your face. The one good news about being a man, you can have an ugly face. You can make up for that shit with other stuff.
Yeah.
Women, it's a little tougher.
Yeah. Like, that's the good thing about men is, like, yes, it's harder to attract, but you have more goes at it because you have more metrics that you can use to, you know, amplify any weak points you might have, but I think the strongest one is absolutely status.
Yes.
But, you know, obviously there's a bunch of ones, you know, physicality, height, income, all these things. But
well, that's what I said. You got to go domain specific. You have to. So there's a thing. One of the most important things in evolution is FDS. So frequency dependent selection. So nature in its omnipotence, or if you're religious, you call it God, distributes. For example, there are women. There's a subset of women. I've seen them. They do not care about looks. They call themselves, you know, sapiosexual. They're very attractive. Einstein was banging chicks.
Yeah.
Little Einstein. I knew a dude that knew Einstein, an old guy, and he said he smells horrible. But Einstein was a sapiosexual. You start dissecting. You go E equals MC squared. But the bigger question I think you're going to is who gets the largest slice of the pie?
Yeah.
Nerdy dudes don't get the largest slice.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't. But you get a slice.
Yeah.
So if you'll get a little slice of the pie, and in an 8 billion person world where 4 billion are women, a little slice could be all you ever need, keep you busy for life. So I think the men who get the largest maybe is the reggaeton, the musicians. It's the spiritual artists, I call it. Women is very powerful, a spiritual artist. So music is a non-materialistic, transcendent thing. So people who control that domain, whether it's art. I mean, I know a guy in New York. I used to collect his art. This fucking dude's ugly. I mean, his ratio of 10's is ridiculous. He gets women there. He's like, I want to paint your hands and shit. And they come there. And it's like, Victoria's Secret model, blah, 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 and they're all fighting over him. If this guy worked at a car wash, I mean, he'd be a fucking involuntary incel.
Yeah.
Genes disappear off planet Earth.
You know, if you have like a really interesting or cool skill that you can display at social gatherings, like I know, for example, Mystery, right? We spoke about him before.
Yeah.
Magician.
Could
you imagine going up in a club or whatever? And this is back before cell phones and everything else like that. You know, doing magic tricks and stuff like that. Like girls like, oh my God. Like, you know, because it's a skill that not that many people have.
Yeah, David Blaine, for example.
And it's interesting, you know,
Chris Angel.
Magicians kill it too. So it's like, you know, it depends. And the other thing, too, because, you know, the black pill guy's like, looks are everything. Not necessarily. You know, there's a bunch of...
What's that called? The black pill?
Yeah, the black pill.
How many fucking colors are there? I know there's red pill. They got maroon pill. Who the fuck is this?
Basically, they said that it's, you know, looks are everything. And it's like, look, for a lot of women, looks matter to a degree, but you'd be amazed at how you can compensate for it if you have other attributes.
It's not the end-all, be-all.
Yeah.
Speaking of pieces of...
Pablo, by the way, let me, not to interrupt you. Pablo Picasso is 5'3". Look it up. 5'3". He had like 12 women, long-term relationships. I think 2 women hung themselves or ended up in an insane asylum when he left them. Pablo Picasso was killing the game. But I'll tell you this. I've watched Pablo Picasso. There's a YouTube video before he died. Somebody had shot on film, not obviously on YouTube. The man is a magical, don't forget charisma.
Yeah.
Like charisma is powerful, man. Charisma, money's powerful. I would say looks. I think there's a subset of women that you will not get without looks. So if I'm not the best looking guy in the world.
It's a barrier to entry for a portion.
Yeah, but leave that.
Yeah, that's fine.
That section.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You got to have a need. It's like in business. I don't look at every business and go, I got to own everything. Just fuck that. Let other people live in that world. By the way, I would not go after that world. Why you want to play in that world? Especially if you want a mom. You want a mom, just don't let the superficial women all fuck the same subset of dudes. Really, just leave. That's the A player Tinder dude. There's a guy who's the most matched Tinder guy in the world. And I texted him, and he follows me on Insta. He's an English guy. I don't know. He gets like 14,000 matches his first day or whatever. You can Google.
What's the metrics on this guy? I'm interested for the data.
He's a tall light skinned model. He's not white.
Mixed.
He's mixed. He's light
black
skin.
and white.
He's about your color. I'd say he's about your skin, a little darker than me, a little lighter than. Yeah, he's a tall model guy, and he takes great pictures. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you gotta dissect the marketplace and say the superficial women. Can I play in that space? Just like I do in business. Yeah. I drop into a section. It's like, okay, am I going to buy this business or launch this? I can't win there. You know, Jack Welch, the greatest CEO of all time, said he only would play games that he was could be number 1 or number 2. So a lot of men, what happens is men are moving into a territory you'll never be one or two. Leave that. Leave it for whatever, the black pillars or whatever the fuck it is. You can move all around, and there's a lot of pills out there.
I would argue that there's enough pie out there for everyone to eat. Maybe not every piece of the pie, but some of it. But for yourself,
some you don't want to eat. There's some women out there you don't want.
I'm just curious. How much of the pie are you eating?
I've done all right. Hey, man, look, if you have a son, ask yourself, what advice would you give your own son? What would you wish? I wouldn't wave a wand over my son and make him a 10 looks. It becomes stupid. Men don't, by the way, this whole concept that great looking men rule the world. If you looked at the Forbes list, these are all runty motherfuckers for the most part. Elon's kind of a big dude, but so I think, for me, I learned a long time ago, like charisma will do a lot for you. I think I dissect the algorithm of the mind inversely. I go, what's the subset of women I'm attracted to? I have a subset, so I'm not even trying to eat at the whole table. At this point in my life, I'm like, ooh, I know the women that I like. I know what they look like. I know what they smell like. I know how they talk. I know their values. So you have to, that's where people go wrong, is like trying to be all things to all people. You ain't ever going to be all things to all people. That's what, in fact, you should optimize your life, just like for a personal brand, where 20% of people not only reject you, but overtly get pissed at you. You want 20% of women going, fuck that guy, because that means you have an archetype. You have to embody something. It's like a woman looks at me now, if she likes whatever supermodel, she'll be like, fuck that guy. But the women who like smart guy, little blazer on, make some money, those women are like, fuck yeah. So you want to hypnotize this way, hypnotize what you value, and then you want to repel what you don't, because this will distract you.
Waste time.
My mentor, Joel Salatin, said the worst thing to do is to grow old and realize you got good at the wrong thing. You know what the worst thing to do is? Realize you grew old with the wrong woman because she was a pretty face. Like Charlie Munger said, ain't nothing more dangerous in this world for a high status man than a pretty face. Fucks more men. So I'm trying to repel the pretty faces that I know I won't. Every man, I've changed my thing on this. Every man, there's two mating strategies Dr. Buss teaches. Long-term, short-term. From the day you're born as a man, always optimize for long-term. Because when you optimize for long-term, you'll still get the fun short-term. But you might accidentally get a girl pregnant, and pregnant's forever. And you want to have kids with a good, not only a good set of genes, but good family. You got to look at family. One of the most heritable traits on earth is mental illness. Height is 0.78 correlation. Your genes, okay? Height is around 0.78, 0.8. So 78% of who you are can be explained by your parents.
Okay.
Intelligence is about the same. And so is narcissism. And so is schizophrenia. So guys are out here not repelling. I want to repel the women who are fucked up. I want to repel them. So what can I do? Because that beautiful face, that's crazy. I've seen it almost take down every top man that starts getting that status. You start vacuum cleaning up all the beautiful women. Dude, 1 out of 20 women is not only fucked up, but deadly.
Yeah.
Deadly.
I mean, look at the Me Too situation going on right now. I mean, look at how many guys that we know that are getting, accused years after the fact because they might have some political views that people might not like, or there's some, they might be exposing a certain pandemic that occurred a couple of years ago. Like, it's wild, man. It's like being weaponized now to go after certain guys. I mean, look at what's going on with Russell Brand. Look at what's going on with Andrew and Tristan. Let's go on with Trump.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that all these guys have some conservative mindsets on certain topics, and they might be anti-establishment. It's like, oh, you go send in the girls. Okay, yeah, me too. Boom.